Here in New York tomorrow, 4 white police officers are going to be formally charged with murder for killing an African immigrant named Amadou Diallo. The 4 policemen shot at him 41 times, and he was unarmed. The killing set off a storm of reaction, first against the police, but more particularly against the mayor, Rudolph Giuliani, who alienated the minority community by not taking its concerns about the police seriously, or not seeming to. Tonight, 2 sides of the story. First, ABC's Bill Blakemore.
Looking up. Look up at the sky, folks. That's the sky, not me.
This, say New York civil rights leaders, is the experience of most black men here, being stopped and frisked.
What we're having here is the beginnings of a police state.
Almost every man you meet here tells of being stopped.
I've been stopped in my car. I've been stopped in the back of taxi cabs.
The officer grabbed me off the stoop, threw me on the car, frisked me.
When I was coming downstairs, police had ran in the building, and they grabbed me, slapped me, threw me on the floor, told me shut up.
Crime is up in regards to police disregard for one's rights.
By some estimates, as many as 49 out of 50 stopped here are never charged.
We all want crime to be reduced, but certainly not in the name of trampling on our civil liberties.
Some told us police seem like arrogant outsiders, partly because they're mostly white from the suburbs.
They're in sort of an armed camp, and that the police are almost stormtroopers.
Adding to black anger are reports from other cities, such as Boston, that it doesn't have to be like this.
If other cities can cut down on crime without having mounting complaints of abuse of people of color, it ought to be possible to do that in New York City.
New York's black leaders also cite recent studies that show that while whites use drugs just as much, blacks are 20 times more likely to go to prison for drugs.
If you target a community and that's where you're looking for it, that's who you will arrest, which means that it has really come down to the war on drugs has become a war on black people.
All these complaints had been piling up here, but it took the death of the unarmed Amadou Diallo in that hail of 41 bullets to finally unite minority leaders here in their demands for equal treatment by police. Bill Blakemore, ABC News, New York.
As for the police position, here's ABC's John Miller.
New York City touts itself as the safest major city in the United States. Overall crime is down 50%, and murder is down by 70%. New York police say they accomplished all this through smarter, more assertive police strategies in high-crime areas, and in most cases, without violating citizens' rights.
Contrary to what the media has portrayed, we're the most restrained police department of any large city in the United States.
Question: are New York City police trigger-happy? Police point to an independent study that shows police in 45 other major cities fire their weapons in fatal shootings more often than New York police.
Washington, D.C. fires their weapons 6 times more than the NYPD. Most other large cities 3 times more. Last year, we had the lowest number of force allegations in civilian complaints in 5 years.
Question: are New York police brutal, rude, and willing to violate citizens' rights? Statistics show since police began using the new, more aggressive strategies, complaints against officers have risen slightly. But if you factor in that 10,000 more police officers have been added, the number of complaints per officers has actually gone down.
3-2 is leading the borough this year in shootings.
One focus of complaints has been the street crime unit. They're the mostly white, plainclothes cops jumping out of cars and frisking people they believe to have guns. In minority neighborhoods, the unit has been accused of abuse.
We don't do racial profiling in this city. We deploy police officers where crime is. Now, what the racial makeup of those communities are is not determined by us, it's determined by the crime.
Police officials have come to accept they can no longer ignore even the widespread perception of abuse. Now they have ordered the street crime unit to go on patrol in uniform. And they have also ordered them to undergo new training, not in how to find guns on the street, but in how to better deal with people. John Miller, ABC News, New York.
We'll be back in just a moment.